जय श्री श्री गुरु गौरांगगंधार गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतश्मार भक्तिवेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतश्मार भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतश्मार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतश्मार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतश्मार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्री गोरक्षर बाबू जी महाराज की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबू जी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुपुरी गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Once again, there. Um, Sorry. All right. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Let me share my screen and then we'll begin. Oops. One second. Let me just send this in our WhatsApp group. I have this TT Countdown WhatsApp group and try to do this every day. I always forget to do it. But yeah, this is a countdown. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's disappearance days in 6 days from now. Wow. It's really coming up. That's when we're gonna officially conclude our program. Here, let me just send it in this group. TT countdown. There's nobody here yet anyway, so all right. Now let's begin. Mangalacharana. Ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri guruve namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Avatirno sakarunyo parichinno sarishvaro Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Dvau Bhrataro Bhaje Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha. Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Lakshmi Kanta Jai Jai Nityananda Vallabha Ekanta Jai Jai Vaikunta Ishwar Nyasi Raj Jaya 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 Bhakata Samaj Jai Jai Patita Pavana Gauracandra Dana Deho Hridaye Tomar Pada Dvandva Shesha Khanda Katha Bhai Shuno Ekachite Nila Chale Gora Chandra Aila Jemate. Tavai vasmi na jivami tvaya vina. Eti vigyaya devi tvam nayamam charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshaya क्षिप्ताश्चकामादितरङ्ग मध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दं भज श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृन्द Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Before we read the glories of Chaitanya Bhagavat and Srila Vrindavan Thakur, I just want to share the link. I wasn't able to go live on YouTube, on Facebook. So I'm just going to share the YouTube link on Facebook. So let me just do that right now, just in case there are people who are trying to join who aren't able to. Where is it? Facebook. Okay. Oops, that was it. And yeah. We are live now. Yeah, I'm going to send that here, and I'm going to also make another post. There. All right. So, Hare Krishna Gopal Ghanasham Prabhu. Let's see if there's anybody there. Okay. Thanks for being patient with me. Okay, the glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, Chapter 8. Ore muro lok shuno Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Mahima Jate Jani Beshakal, Krishna Lila Bhagavate Koheve Vyas, Chaitanya Lilar Vyas Vrindavana Das, Vrindavana Dasa Koilo Chaitanya Mangal, Jahara Shavane Nashi Sarvaya Mangal. चैतन्य नितार जाते जानिए महिमा जाते जानी कृष्ण भक्ति सिद्धांतेर सीमा भागवते जत भक्ति सिद्धांतेर सार लिखियाছেন ইহা জানি করিয়া উদ্ধার চৈতন্য মঙ্গল শুনে যদি পাষাণ্ডে জবান সেহ মহাবৈষ্ণব হয় ততক্ষণ মানুষে রচিতে নারে ঐচ্ছে গ্রন্থ ধন্য বৃন্দাবন দাস মুখে বক্তা শ্রী চৈতন্য বৃন্দাবন দাস পরে কোটি নমস্কার ঐচ্ছে গ্রন্থ করিতে হো তারিল সংসার নারায়ণী চৈতন্যের উচ্ছিষ্ট ভাজন তার গর্বে জন্মিলা শ্রীদাস বৃন্দাবন তার কি অদ্ভুত চৈতন্য চরিত বর্ণন যাহারা শ্রবণে শুদ্ধ কইল ত্রিভুবন সহজে বিচিত্র মধুর চৈতন্য বিহার বৃন্দাবন দাস মুখে অমৃতে ধার. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. And when they are described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Nagoriya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai. Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai. Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna Champak Mataji. And the devotees watching on YouTube, not Facebook this time. Can't get Facebook to work for some reason. All right. If you write a comment, then I can see who you are. Otherwise, I don't know who's there. So continuing on with our reading of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, chapter 9 of the Antya-khaṇḍa. Today we are going to complete this chapter. And then we'll be starting the very last chapter of Caitanya-bhāgavata. And it's not a very long chapter either. So we only have this reading and 2 more readings left, and then we're finished. So, all right. I'll read this summary by Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, and then we'll continue on. Actually, maybe let's just go to this part. Let's see. We'll go to this part where yeah, okay. I'm just going to search for Shrivas, and then let's go to this part where Shrivas glorifies Mahaprabhu. Yeah, I'm not going to read the summary now. I'm just going to go over here. Yeah, okay, let's read from this point on about Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Okay. Whoever respectfully accepts the statements of the Vaishnavas is victorious everywhere. In this way, Sri Gauracandra always enjoyed pastimes in the company of his devotees. Okay, 236. So we'll read from this point. Sorry, guys, I didn't prepare very much. I'll read the short summary first, and then we'll continue on. So this chapter describes Mahaprabhu's acceptance of lunch alone at Advaita's house in Nilachal, Mahaprabhu's inquiry from Damodar Pandit about Mother Shachi's devotional service to Viṣṇu, Mahaprabhu's resolve not to eat at the house of anyone who did not daily chant 100,000 names of Hari, the Lord's inquiry to Śrī Keshav-bharati whether Gyan or Bhakti was superior, and his jubilation on hearing that Bhakti was superior, the devotee's glorification of Lord Chaitanya under the order of Śrī Advaita. That was such a fun part. Then the Lord's meeting with Śrī Rupa and Sanatan. Sriman Mahaprabhu's awarding the name Sanatan to Sakar Malik. Mahaprabhu's confirmation to Shrivas of Advaita's position as a supersoul and material cause of all ingredients. The establishment, and today we're going to be reading about the establishment of Lord Kṛṣṇa as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by quoting the incident of the great sage Bhṛgu from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And also, I think the point of that story was to show how the devotees cannot be understood. Yeah. And then we'll read about the inconceivable nature of exalted Vaishnava behavior. Okay. So let's go to 236. One day, all the devotees were sitting around the Lord like stars surrounding the moon. The Lord of Vaikuntha and the crest jewel of the sannyasis was sitting in the middle, incessantly narrating the glories of Lord Kṛṣṇa. At that time, 2 most fortunate souls came before the Lord. The Lord then mercifully glanced on those 2 brothers, Sakar Malik and Śrī Rupa, who was known as Dabir Kas. I don't know why Śrī Rupa disappeared. From a distance, the 2 brothers fell flat, offering obeisances to the Lord. Taking straw in their mouths, they spoke with great humility. They said, Jai Jai Mahaprabhu Śrī Krishna Chaitanya, Jahar Kripai hoilo sarva loka dhanya. All glories to Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy all people have become fortunate. Jai Dinavatsala Jagat Hitakari. Jai Jai Parama Sannyasa Rupadhari. All glories to the Supreme Lord, who is kind to the fallen and who is the benefactor of the world. All glories to the Supreme Lord, who has accepted the form of a sannyasi. Jai Jai Sankirtan Vinoda Ananta. Jai Jai Sarva Adi Madhya Ananta. All glories to the Supreme Lord, who enjoys unlimited pastimes of Sankirtan. Sankirtan Vinod Ananta. That's nice. All glories to the Lord, who is the beginning, middle, and end of everything. Apane hoya Śrī Vaiṣṇava avatar, bhakti diya udharila shakala sangsar. You have incarnated as a Vaishnav, and by distributing devotional service, you have delivered the entire world. Hare Krishna, Shubhananda Prabhu. Tave Prabhu morek na udhar kon kaje, mui ki na ho Prabhu sangsarer maje. Then for what reason, my Lord, are you not delivering us? Do we not belong to this world? Ajanma vishay bhoge hoya mohita, napujilo tomar charana nijahita. Since our birth, we have been bewildered by sense gratification. Therefore, we have not worshipped your lotus feet for our own benefit. We have neither associated with your devotees, nor have we chanted or heard your kirtans. You have deceived us by making us ministers of a king. Why then have you given us this human form of life? Haribol Sarveshwari Mataji. Haribol. The demigods prayed for a human birth. Yet even though you have given us a human birth, you have deceived us. Therefore, please be merciful on us this time, without duplicity, so that we may live under a tree and chant your names. May we be blessed with the opportunity to receive the remnants of your dear servant at the door of his house. In this way, the two brothers, Rupa and Sanatan, offered prayers, which were heard by Lord Chaitanya. The Lord then mercifully glanced at the two brothers and began to speak with compassion. The Lord said, "Both of you are fortunate, for you have cut through the bonds of material life and left home. The whole world is bound by the knots of material enjoyment, yet you have freed yourself from that bondage. Now, if you desire pure love of God, then grab hold of the lotus feet of Advaita Prabhu. Śrī Advaita Prabhu is in charge of the storehouse of devotional service. Devotional service is achieved by his mercy." Hearing the Lord's instruction, those two great souls fell flat at the feet of Advaita Prabhu. Then they said, Rupa and Sanatan said, "Jai Jai Śrī Advaita Patita Pavan, Mui Dui Patitere Koroho Mochan." All glories to Śrī Advaita, the deliverer of fallen souls. We are most fallen, so please deliver us. The Lord then said, "Please listen, Advaita Goshai. There are no persons in Kali Yuga as renounced as these two. They left royal pleasures and accepted only loincloths and torn quilts. They reside in Mathura and always chant Krishna's name. Please bestow Krishna Bhakti on them so that they do not forget Krishna life after life. You are the storekeeper of devotional service. You are the Bhaktir Bandhari. Who can attain devotion to Krishna, the association of Krishna's devotees, or Krishna himself, unless you give him devotional service? Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Bhakta, Krishna Kare Mile. Unless you give that to the person. Advaita Prabhu replied, "O Lord, you are the giver of everything. If you order me, then I can give." And then Advaita said, a storekeeper can dispense goods only on the order of the proprietor. In the same way, a person who is favored by you will certainly receive devotional service. With my body, mind, and speech, I bless them both to have prem bhakti in every respect. Hearing the merciful statement of Advaita, the Lord loudly chanted the holy name of Hari. Lord Chaitanya then spoke to Dabir Kas as Rupa Goswami. He said, "Now you have received ecstatic love for Krishna. He received Krishna Prem Bhakti. He says, Krishna Bhakti is possible by the mercy of Advaita Prabhu. Know for certain that Advaita Prabhu possesses all the potencies of Krishna. Both of you remain here for some time to see the lotus face of Lord Jagannath. Then go reside in Mathura. You should both distribute the mellows of devotional service to the people of the West, who are under the influence of the modes of passion and ignorance. Later, I will come to Mathura, arrange a secluded place for my stay. The Lord then changed the name of Sakar Malik to Sanatan. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, the two brothers Rupa and Sanatan are famous throughout the world, even today. Śrī Caitanya-chandra always broadcasts the glories of their fame, devotional service, and magnanimity. In great satisfaction, Lord Chaitanya proclaims the glories of Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, and his other dear devotee associates. Lord Chaitanya revealed who were his devotees, what was their previous identity, which Vaiṣṇava or Vaiṣṇavi the devotees were expansions of, and what was their mode of worship, and what was their mode of worship, and what were their glories. And right now we're working on this book, Gauracandra Dipika, which explains all these things as well. That will be coming out soon. GVP will publish it. One day, the Lord was sitting among the devotees headed by Advaita and Śrīvas. The Lord then asked Śrīvas Pandit about Advaita Acharya. The Lord said, "O Śrīvas, please tell me what kind of Vaishnav you think Advaita Prabhu is?" Śrīvas Pandit thought for a moment and then said, "I consider him similar to Shukadev or Prahlad." Hearing the comparison of Advaita with Prahlad and Shukadev, the Lord became angry and hit Śrīvas. As an affectionate father spanks his son to teach him, in the same way, the Lord gave one slap to Śrīvas. It said, "Ki bali," and he's speaking in the Tui. He said, "Ki bolili, Pandit Śrīvas." What did you say? What did you say, Pandit Śrīvas? You are saying my nada is like Shukadev or Prahlad? You may say that Shukadev is fully liberated, but in front of Prahlad, he is like an infant. How dare you say such things about my nada? O Śrīvas, you have given me great distress today. Saying this, the Lord angrily took a fishing rod in his hand and chased after Śrīvas to hit him. Śrī Advaita Acharya quickly stood up and gently caught hold of the Lord's hand. O Lord, a father teaches his sons out of compassion. Therefore, who in the three worlds is a suitable candidate for your anger? Hearing the words of Advaita Acharya, the Lord gave up his anger and in ecstasy began to profusely glorify Advaita. The Lord said, "Since all of you are like my children, my anger is now vanished. Who can know the glories of nada? It was he who woke me from sleep and brought me here." The Lord said, "O Śrīvas, is this how you respect my nada? Shuka and others are like his children. You should know that they are all junior to nada. I have incarnated only because of Advaita Prabhu. His loud crying is still ringing in my ears. I was lying down in the ocean of milk, and my nada's loud cries woke me and brought me here." Śrīvas, who had natural affection for Advaita, became very happy when he heard the Lord's statements. The devotee is always happy to get the chastisement of the Lord. And Śrīvas had a very deep, strong bond with Advaita Acharya even before the appearance of Mahaprabhu. So, yeah, they go back very, very far back. Trembling in fear, Śrīvas said, "Oh, my Lord, I have offended you. Please forgive me. You alone know the truth about Advaita." And then Śrīvas said to Mahaprabhu, "You alone know the truth about Advaita. If you disclose this truth, then other servants can know." Today I have become fortunate, and everything has become auspicious as a result of receiving your instructions. Now you have revealed your authority, and my mind has become strengthened today. From today, my resolve is that if Advaita Prabhu touches even wine or women, still I will have staunch devotion for him. I make this promise before you. The Lord became satisfied on hearing Srivasa's words. The three of them then happily sat down together as before. Oh, Haribol Manjari Didi. All these auspicious narrations are most confidential. By hearing these topics, one surely attains Krishna. The omniscient Lord Gauracandra alone knows the influence and devotion of each devotee. He knows their power as well as who is senior and who is junior. Whoever serves the Lord without duplicity can also know these things. All right, so that's where we read up to yesterday. Now we're continuing on. Vishnu Tattva Jeno Abhi Gyata Vedavani Eyumata Vaishnavero Tattva Nahi Jani. Just as the science of Lord Viṣṇu described in the Vedas is difficult to understand, in the same way, the science of the Vaishnavas is also difficult to understand, very difficult to understand, just as it's difficult to understand Vishnu Tattva, in the same way it's difficult to understand Vaishnav Tattva. Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. The science of the Supreme Lord is not known to ordinary people. The Vedic literatures reveal that the Vedic literatures reveal that Supreme Lord by mantras like Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Param Sada Pashyanti Suraya Deviva Chakshur Atatam. One second, I forgot to check if my mic's plugged in. It is, okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Viṣṇu is the absolute truth, whose lotus feet all the demigods are always eager to see. Like the sun god, he pervades everything by the rays of his energy. He appears impersonal to imperfect eyes. So yeah, the Vedic literatures reveal the Supreme Lord by such mantras like that. One can understand the science of the Vishnu Tattva, the science of Lord Viṣṇu, only on the strength of one's sincere worship of Gaurasundar. The words of Gaurasundar are certainly equal to Vedic statements. Misunderstanding of the independent Vedic statements disturbs and misdirects the limited knowledge of humans. Just as the science of the Supreme Lord is incomprehensible, the science of the Vaishnavas is incomprehensible to ordinary people. In the Mundaka Upanishad 3.1.7, it is stated, Brihachcha tad divyam achintarupam shushmataram vibhati durat sadure tarihanti kecha pasyatsvihaiva nihitam guhayam. Sorry, guys. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the greatest. He is splendid and transcendental. His form is beyond the understanding of the material mind. He is more subtle than the most subtle. He stays far away from the impious. The devotees see him in their hearts. In the Katha Upanishad 2.2.14, it is stated, Tad etad iti manyante nirdeshyam paramam sukham. The wise understands that he is the embodiment of indescribable supreme spiritual bliss. In the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 2.6.37, it is stated, Naham nayuyam naritam gatim vidur, navama deva kimuta pare sura, tanmayaya mohita buddhayastvidam, vinirmitam chatma samang vichakshmahe. Since neither Lord Shiva, nor you, nor I could ascertain the limits of spiritual happiness, how can other demigods know it? And because all of us are bewildered by the illusory external energy of the Supreme Lord, We can see only this manifested cosmos according to our individual ability. In the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 6:17, 32 and 35, it is stated, Naham virincho na kumara narado na brahmaputra munaya shuresha shaha vidama yasye hitama angshakankshaka tat na tat sarupam pritagi shamanina. Neither I, Lord Shiva is speaking about himself, neither I, nor Brahma, nor the Ashwini Kumars, nor Narad, or the other great sages who are Brahma's sons, nor even the demigods, can understand the pastimes and personality of the Supreme Lord. Although we are part of the Supreme Lord, we consider ourselves independent, separate controllers, and thus we cannot understand his identity. Tasmana vismaya karya purusheshu mahatmasu mahapurusho bhakteshu shanteshu samadarshishu. Therefore, no one should be astonished to see the activities of the most exalted devotees of Narayan, for they are free from attachment and envy. They are always peaceful and they are equal to everyone. Siddha Vaishnaver at. Okay, so continuing on. Siddha Vaishnaver ati vishama vyavahar na bhuji nindiya more shakala sangsar. Wait, so the previous verse said, just as Vishnu Tattva described in the Vedas is difficult to understand, in the same way, Vaishnav Tattva is also difficult to understand. And then the characteristics of a perfect Vaishnav are most extraordinary. Not understanding this, people criticize them and then suffer the consequences. Gaudiya Bhashya. Devotees attached to the service of the Supreme Lord are the Lord's Vṛṣṇavas, or confidential servants. Ordinary people driven by external knowledge cannot understand this. Transgression of etiquette by Krishna's devotee is seen in the descriptions of Bhṛgu's characteristics. That's Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, chapters 89. And we're going to be reading that story in depth today. Bhṛgu did not hesitate to place his feet on the chest of the Supreme Lord. Although by ordinary consideration, Bhṛgu insulted the Supreme Lord, who is affectionate to his devotees, Bhṛgu demonstrated by his actions his ati vishramba bhav, his very confidential, a very intimate mood, and atyasakti, his intense attachment and the service of the Supreme Lord. Foolish people who cannot understand, but actually misunderstand the actual purport, engage in disrespecting Vishnu and the Vaishnavas by imitating Bhṛgu. You think, oh, Bhṛgu is able to behave with the Lord like this, so why can't I? Actually, like I see this kind of thing happen very often with devotees who misunderstand the meaning of Raganuga Bhakti. And they think, oh, I don't want to follow all the rules and regulations, become a Vaidhi Bhakta. I'm just, I want spontaneous love, and so yeah, no rules and regulations, but that's completely missing the whole point of what Raganuga Bhakti actually means. Raganuga Bhakti doesn't just mean like carefree, like careless devotion. No, that's the opposite of Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti means that you do everything after hearing from a pure devotee and becoming attracted to the residents of Braj, then you do everything based on this rag that naturally comes in the heart. But it's not just, it's a very high thing. Like it starts to come probably, I think, on the stage of asakti or bhav, then you start to actually get rag, and actually somebody who's following Raganuga Bhakti, they'll follow the rules and regulations that are favorable for their mood more strongly than the Vaidhi Bhakta. The Vaidhi Bhakta will I've mentioned this point before, but the Vaidhi Bhakta will wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. The Raganuga Bhakta will wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. They're excited to, start chanting again and everything. the standard of their service will be much higher than somebody, just a Vaidhi Bhakta. They'll like we hear the example of Raghava Pandit, how he threw away the coconut because the pujari touched the wall and then touched the coconut, and he said the wall has the dust rises up from people's feet, and so like it doesn't just mean like careless devotion. So people might think, oh yeah, the Brajvasis, the Sakas would stick their remnants in Krishna's mouth, and like I could do this, you know what I mean? I don't need to follow these ones, but that's totally misunderstanding. Anyway, sorry. Okay. Siddha Vaishnaver Jeno Vishama Vyavahar Shakshate Dekoho Bhagavata Kathasar. The characteristics of a perfect Vaishnav are most extraordinary. Just see yourself the example given in the topics of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Vaishnav Pradhan Bhṛgu Brahmar Nandan Aharnisha Mane Bhave Jahar Charan. Okay, so we're seeing how the characteristics of a perfect Vaishnav are most extraordinary. Now we're seeing the example of Bhṛgu Muni. Bhṛgu Muni, the great Vaishnav, son of Brahma, thinks day and night about the lotus feet of Lord Viṣṇu. She Prabhur Vakhe Korilen Pada Ghata Tathapi Vaishnava Shrestha Dekoho Shakshata. Although Bhṛgu kicked that Lord Viṣṇu in the chest, he is nevertheless accepted as a topmost Vaishnav, Vaishnav Shrestha. Prasange Shunoho Bhagavatir Akyan Je Nimitta Bhṛgu Korilen Henokam. In this connection, please hear the statements of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam regarding Bhṛgu. So now Srila Vrindavan Thakur is going to tell this story in depth. That's going to be most of our reading, is just hearing the story today. Purve Saraswati Tire Maharishi Gan Arambhila Mahajagya Purana Shravan. Long ago, many great sages gathered on the bank of the river Saraswati to perform a great sacrifice and to hear from the Puranas. Hare Krishna Ananta Omji. Shabe Shastra Karta Shabe Mahatapodhan Anyonye Lagilo Brahma Vichar Kathan. Those sages were all learned in the scriptures and were experts in the performance of austerities. In this particular meeting, they began to discuss the absolute truth. Brahma Viṣṇu Maheshwar Tinjan Majhe Ke Pradhan Vicharen Munir Samaje. The sages in the assembly discussed who is supreme among the three predominating deities, Lord Brahma, Lord Viṣṇu, or Lord Shiva. Who's the supreme among them? Keho bole Brahma boro, keho Maheshwar, keho bole Viṣṇu boro sabar upar. Someone said that Brahma was the greatest. Someone said that Shiva was the greatest. And someone said that Viṣṇu was the greatest of all. Purane nanamata koren kathan, Shiva boro kotao narayan. Even in the Puranas, different statements are found. In some places it is said that Shiva is the greatest, and somewhere else it is said Narayan is the greatest. Tobesha Brishigan Milia Bhṛgure Adeshila E Praman Tattva Jani Bare. Then all the sages requested Bhṛgu to gather evidence to establish the actual truth. Brahmarmana Saputra Tumi Mahashoy Sarvamate Tumi Jeshta Shrishta Tattvamoy. The sages said, you are the mind-born son of Brahma. You are senior to us in every respect, and you are the best of the knowers of the truth. Tumi iha jano giya koriya vichar sandeho bhanjano abhanjaho asi ama sabakar. You go and determine who is the greatest, then return and remove our doubts. Tumi je kohiba she sabar praman shuni Bhṛgu cholilen age brahmastan. We will accept whatever you say. We will accept whatever you say as conclusive. After hearing this, Bhṛgu first of all went to his father's residence in Brahmaloka. Brahmar sabhai giya Bhṛgu munivar dambha kori rohilen Brahmar Gochar. Bhṛgu Muni first went to the assembly of his father, Brahma, and proudly stood there before him. Putra deki Brahma boro santosha hoila. Shakal kushal jigyasi bare lagila. Shakal kushal jigyasi bare lagila. Sorry. Brahma became greatly pleased on seeing his son, and he inquired about Bhṛgu's welfare. Satya parikite Bhṛgu Brahmar nandan Shraddha kori na shunen baper bachan. Because Bhṛgu wanted to test whether Brahma had the quality of goodness, he did not listen attentively to his father. But you can imagine, Bhṛgu Rishi comes there and his father Brahma says, he's become so happy to see his son. He said, Bhṛgu, how are you doing? You know, he's very happy. But then Bhṛgu kind of just ignored him. Stuti ki ba binoy Gaurav namaskar Kichu na koren pita putra vyavahar. He neither offered prayers nor respectful obeisances to his father. He neglected whatever etiquette a son is expected to show his father. Hari Bol Nari Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji. Gaudiya Bhashya. Although Bhṛgu was an elder son of Brahma, Bhṛgu neither offered Brahma prayers, respectful words, or obeisances at his feet. It is not proper for a son to diminish the prestige of his father in any way. Yet Bhṛgu displayed such discourtesy to test Brahma's quality of omniscience. This made Brahma displeased, and he immediately wanted to burn Bhṛgu to ashes. From this, it is proved that a close relative could not understand the glories of the devotee Bhṛgu. Therefore, Brahma was not accepted as the best among the guna avatars. Bhṛgu could understand that Brahma was not the cause of all causes. He was only the creator of the universe. Later, when the sages pacified Brahma, his anger subsided. Thereafter, Bhṛgu went before Rudra, and Rudra, considering himself senior and Bhṛgu as junior, went to embrace Bhṛgu with affection. Bhṛgu, however, rebuked Rudra. When the junior Bhṛgu displayed such improper behavior to his senior three-eyed brother, Rudra became angry. When Rudra, in his form as the annihilator, was about to kill Bhṛgu, it took no time for Bhṛgu to understand the position of Rudra. Thereafter, Bhṛgu went to the ocean of milk, where he found Lord Viṣṇu, whose lotus feet were served by Lakshmi, and immediately kicked Lord Viṣṇu. The Lord immediately got up, and rather than becoming angry like Brahma and Rudra, he joyfully offered respectful obeisances to Bhṛgu and prayed that Bhṛgu would excuse his offense. The Lord further said to Bhṛgu that he accepted the feet of a great devotee on his chest, where his maidservant Lakshmi resides. Pastimes displaying expertise on the path of attachment with intimacy or equality are depicted in various ways in a society of... Pastimes displaying expertise on the path of attachment with intimacy or equality are depicted in various ways in a society of fools. But intelligent devotees display their affection for the Lord and the supreme expertise of devotees by manifesting their humility. That is why we can understand from verses composed by Sri Madhavendra Puripad, who is renowned for planting the seed of ecstatic love for Krishna, that as long as one is under the control of qualities like lust and anger, one continues to remain averse to the service of the Lord. Human beings become free from the clutches of qualities like lust and anger only when they attain the service of Krishna. All right, so Bhṛgu neither offered prayers nor respectful obeisances to his father. He neglected whatever etiquette a son is expected to show his father, and he just ignored him when he came there so affectionately and asked for his welfare. He just ignored him. It's like, Dekhiya putrer anadar vyavahar krode brahma hoilen agni avatar. He became like Agni avatar. Seeing the disrespectful behavior of his son, Brahma became very angry and appeared like the incarnation of Agni, of the god of fire. Bhasma kori ben heno krode mana hoila dekhiya pitar murti Bhṛgu polaila. When Bhṛgu saw his father's angry mood, he ran away in fear. He ran away in fear that he would be cursed and turned to ashes. Sabe bhujailen Brahmar paye dhori, putrere ki goshai emoto kroda kori. Everyone present there held the feet of Brahma and pacified him, saying, "Please don't be so cruel to your son." They said, is this ki goshai putrere emoto kroda kori? Is this how um you should treat your son? Tabe putra snehe Brahma kroda pasharila, jala paye jeno agni shushamya hoila. Out of affection for his son, Brahma then controlled his anger as fire is extinguished with water. Tobe Bhṛgu Brahmare bhujiya bhalo mate, koilashe aila maheshwar parikhite. After testing Brahma, Bhṛgu Muni went directly to Kailas to test Shiva. Bhṛgu deki maheshwar anandita hoya, uthila Parvati sange adar koriya. When Shiva saw Bhṛgu Muni, he became happy, and Parvati stood up with due respect. Jeshta bhai gorave apane trilochan, prem joge uthila korite alingan. Displaying the etiquette of an elder brother, the three-eyed Shiva personally rose to embrace Bhṛgu with affection. Bhṛgu bole Mahesh, parasha nahi koro, jate ko pashanda vesh, sab tumi dhoro. But Bhṛgu Muni said, "My dear Mahesh, please do not touch me. You wear all the symbols of an atheist. Bhuta pret pishacha asprisha jata ache, henoshab pashanda rakoho tumi kache." You always keep bhutas, that's like means ghosts, pretas, pishachas, and other untouchable atheists around you. Get away from me. Don't touch me. Jatek utpatashe tomar vyavahar, bhasmasti dharan kon shastrer achar. Yeah, so it's like ghosts and goblins and witches. Keep all these ghost goblins. Your behavior is full of contradictions. What scripture says that one can decorate his body with bones and ashes? Tomar parashi snan korite jujai, dur thako, dure thako, I bhutarai. If you touch me, I'll have to bathe. Therefore, O Lord of the Bhutas, please stay away from me. Parika nimite Bhṛgu, bolen kotuke, kabu shiva ninda nahi Bhṛgur shrimuke. Bhṛgu Muni spoke like this to test Lord Shiva. Otherwise, he would never criticize Shiva. He didn't actually mean to say that. He's testing him. Bhṛguvake mahakrode dev trilochan trishul tulia loy len shekon. When the three-eyed Shiva heard Bhṛgu's insulting words, he became angry and at once picked up his trident. Shreshtabhai dharma pashari len shankar hoilen jeheno sanghar murti dhar. Shankar forgot all the respect an elder brother generally gives to his brother, and he assumed his form as the annihilator. Don't think there could be nothing more terrifying than Rudra, who annihilates all the universes and destroys everything in creation, in this material creation. Shul tuilen Shiva Bhṛgure marite, ate vyate devi asi dhorilen hate. As Shiva took up his trident to kill Bhṛgu Muni, Parvati quickly came and caught hold of Shiva's hands. Charane dhoriya bhujayen maheshwari, jeshta bhaire ki prabhu eto kroda kori. Jeshta bhaire ki prabhu eto kroda kori. She then grabbed Shiva's feet and said, "Oh Lord, should an older brother become so angry?" Devi bake lajapai rohila shankar, Bhṛgu o chalila Śrī Vaikuṇṭha Kṛṣṇa ghar. On hearing Parvati's words, Shankar became embarrassed. Bhṛgu then went on to Vaikuṇṭha, the abode of Krishna. Shri Ratna Kathai Prabhu Achen Shayane, Lakshmi Seva korite achen Śrī Charane. The Lord was lying on a jeweled bed, and Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, was engaged in massaging his lotus feet. Henoi shamoy Bhṛgu asi alakite, padaghat korilen prabhur bakhete. At that time, Bhṛgu Muni came there unnoticed and kicked the Lord's chest with his foot. Bhṛgu deki Mahaprabhu sambhrame uthiya, namaskorilen Prabhu Mahaprita hoya. On seeing Bhṛgu Muni, the Lord Mahaprabhu, it's neat that he calls Viṣṇu Mahaprabhu here. The Lord immediately got up from his bed and affectionately offered obeisances to the Brahmana. Lakshmir Sahite Prabhu Bhṛgur Charan Santoshe Korite Lagilen Prakalan. Then the Lord, along with Lakshmi, joyfully washed Bhṛgu Muni's feet. Boshite Dilen Ani Uttama Asan Shri Haste Tahan Ange Lepen Chandan. After offering Bhṛgu an excellent sitting place, the Lord personally smeared sandalwood pulp on Bhṛgu's body. Aparadi pray jeno hoya apane, aparada magiya loyentar sthane. The Lord then begged forgiveness from Bhṛgu, as if he had committed an offense, as if the Lord himself committed an offense to Bhṛgu. Tomar shubha vijay amina janiya, aparada koriachi kama more iha. The Supreme Lord Viṣṇu said, I have committed an offense because I was unaware of your arrival and did not receive you properly. I beg you to pardon me. Eje tomar pado daka punya jal, tirtere koroye tirta heno sunirmal. This water that was used to wash your feet is so pure, it can sanctify the places of pilgrimage. Jateka brahmanda vaishe amar dehete, jata loko palashab amar sahite, pado daka diya aji korila pavitra, akhoy hoya rahu tomar charitra. All the Brahmandas situated within my body, as well as all the rulers of all the planets, all of us have been purified today by this water that has washed your feet. Therefore, let your characteristics remain imperishable. Eje tomar shri charana chinna dhuli, vakhe rakhilaya ami hoy kutuhali. I will gladly keep the mark and dust of your footprint on my chest. And you can actually see pictures of Viṣṇu with this Bhṛgu Muni's footprint still there. Even Lord Jagannath has a little footprint of Bhṛgu Muni on him. You can see. Lakshmi Shange Nija Vakhe Dilo Amistan Vede Jeno Srivatsa Lanchana Vole Nam. I will keep the mark of your footprint on my chest along with Lakshmi, whose residence on my chest is glorified by the Vedas as the mark of Srivatsa. Shuniya Prabhur Vakya Binoy Vyavahar Kam Krodha Lobh Moha Shakaler Par. Hearing the Lord's words and seeing his humble behavior, Bhṛgu Muni concluded that Lord Viṣṇu was certainly beyond the influence of lust, anger, greed, and illusion. Deki Maharishi Pailen Chamatkar Lajjita Hoya Matha Na Tholen Ar. Bhṛgu Muni was struck with wonder and he lowered his head in shame. Jaha korilen she tahan karma noy, abe sher karma iha jani ho nishchoy. Whatever Bhṛgu Muni did was not on his account. Rather, he acted on the inspiration of providence. Gaudiya Bhashya. Although Bhṛgu, the son of Brahma, was an insignificant living entity, and he performed an act that appeared most abominable to the eyes of ordinary people, and that was not befitting a devotee, yet He acted that way as an empowered incarnation for the benefit of those who, out of foolishness, cannot understand the supreme position of Viṣṇu among Hari, Hara, and Virinchi. Sri Shankar, the Mayavadacharya, concealed his mood as an eternal servant while also acting as an empowered incarnation. Sri Shankaracharya was the empowered incarnation of Rudra, while Sri Bhṛgu and Sri Vyasadeva were empowered incarnations of Viṣṇu. Interesting. The sages coming in Brahma's line were empowered incarnations of Brahma. Therefore, it is the Supreme Lord residing as a director in the hearts of all living entities who inspires them to display various pastimes. Although insignificant living entities like the Karmis and the Smarta, so-called Brahmins, give Bhṛgu an exalted position, the devotees do not see him like that. Only those who have discussed Vishramba Seva, or confidential service of the Supreme Lord in the Madhur Ras, practice in the Vallabh Sampradaya, which follows the path of Anurag, or attachments, can understand the characteristics of Bhṛgu. Such an interesting last sentence there. Only those who have discussed the Vishramba Seva, or intimate service of the Supreme Lord in the Madhur Ras practiced by the Vallabh Sampradaya, which follows the path of Anurag, or attachment, can understand the characteristics of Bhṛgu. Glorifying the Vallabh Sampradaya there. Haribo Vidyalala Sadidi. Bahya pai priti shraddha dekhite dekhite bhakti rashe purna hoy lagila nachite. Bhṛgu Muni then regains his external consciousness, and after seeing that exhibition of the Lord's love and affection, he was filled with devotional love and began to dance. Seeing the Lord's priti and shraddha, then bhakti rase purna hoy lagite. He danced full of bhakti ras. Hasya kampa gharma mursha pulaka humkar bhakti rase magna hoila Brahmar Kumar. As the son of Brahma became absorbed in devotional sentiments, in bhakti ras, it says, he exhibited symptoms like laughing, shivering, perspiring, loss of consciousness, hairs standing on end, and shouting loudly. Sabar Ishwar Krishna Sabar Jivan, E Satya Boli Nache Brahmar Nandan. Krishna is the Lord and the life of all. The son of Brahma danced as he declared this truth. Gaudiya Bhashya. The sattvic vikars, or transcendental transformations exhibited by Bhṛgu Muni, indicated the presence of devotional sentiments. Bhṛgu displayed compassion on all the sages by singing the following supreme truth. Ishvara Paramakrishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Govinda, Krishna, is the cause of all causes. He is the primeval cause, and he is the very form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Dekhiya Krishner Shanta Binoy Vyabhar Prem Bhakti Je Kothao Nasambhave Ar. After observing the humble and peaceful behavior of the Lord, Bhṛgu Muni concluded that such love and devotion was not possible anywhere else. Bhakti jada hoila vakya na aise badane anandashru dharamatra bohe shri nayane. Bhṛgu Muni's eyes became filled with tears of ecstasy. He became stunned with devotion. Bhakti jada. And he was unable to speak. Sarva bhave ishvarere deha samarpiya punamuni sabha madhye milila asiya. He fully surrendered himself to the Lord and then returned to the assembly of great sages. Bhṛgu deki shabe hoila ananda apar koho Bhṛgu kar kon dekhile vyabahar. Seeing Bhṛgu Muni, everyone became joyful and asked, "O Bhṛgu, what sort of behavior have you seen?" Tumi je koho she sabar praman, tabe shab kohilen Bhṛgu Bhagavan. We will accept whatever you say as conclusive. Then Bhṛgu Muni described his experiences. Brahma Vishnu Maheshwar Tiner Vyabhar Shakal Kohia E Kohilen Sar. He explained in detail the characteristics of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and then spoke the following words in conclusion. He said, Sarvasheshta Shri Vaikuntha Nata Narayan Satya 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 E Bolilo Vachan. Narayan, the Lord of Vaikuntha, is the greatest of all. This is the truth, the truth, the truth. Satya Satya Satya. Sabar Ishwar Krishna Janaka Sabar Brahma Shiva Koren Jahar Adhikar. Krishna is the controller and father of all. Even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva work under his direction. Karta Harta Rakhita Sabar Narayan Nisandehe Bhajogiya Tahar Charan. Lord Narayan is the doer, creator, and protector. Therefore, one should worship his lotus feet without doubt. Dharma Gyan Punya Kirti Aishwar Virakti Atma Shishta Madhyama Jahar Jato Shakti Shakal Krishner Iha Jani Ho Nishchoy Ataeva Gao Bhajo Krishner Vijay. Know for certain that religiosity, knowledge, pious activities, opulences, and renunciation, as well as one's exalted position and influence, all originate from Krishna. Therefore, sing the glories of Krishna and worship him. Shri Krishna Shakshat Chaitanya Bhagavan Kirtana Vihare Hoyachin Vidyaman. Lord Chaitanya is that same Lord Krishna, and he appeared to enjoy the pastimes of Sankirtan. Jai Ho. Lord Chaitanya is that same Lord Krishna, and he appeared to enjoy Kirtan Bihar, pastimes, reveling in Kirtan. Bhṛgur Vachana Shuni Shabarishigan Nisandeha Hoila Sarvashishta Narayan. After hearing Bhṛgu Muni's statement with great attention, the sages became free from doubt and concluded that Narayan is the greatest. Bhṛgure Pujiya Bole Shabrishigan Shangshay Chendiya Tumi Bhalo Koila Man. The sages then offered their respectful obeisances to Bhṛgu Muni and said, "You have cleared our doubts and made our minds peaceful." Gaudiya Bhāṣya, see Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 89. Krishna Bhakti Sabe Loile Drida Mane Bhakta Rupe Brahma Shiva Pujen Jatane. All the sages then accepted the devotional service of Krishna with determination, and they faithfully worshipped Brahma and Shiva with the understanding that they are devotees. Gaudiya Bhāṣya. In the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 10:89-19, it is stated, Itam sarasata vipra nrinam shangshaya nutaye purushasya padam bhoja sevayatar gatim kata. The learned Brahmins living along the Saraswati came to this conclusion in order to dispel the doubts of all people. Therefore, they rendered devotional service to the Supreme Lord's lotus feet and attained his abode. In the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 10:38-8, it is stated, Yad architam Brahma bhavadivi surai shriyacha devya munibis sasatvatai gocharanaya nucharadvane yad gopikanam kuchakum kumankitam. Those lotus feet are worshipped by Brahma, Shiva, and all the other demigods, by the goddess of fortune, and also by the great sages and Vaiṣṇavas. Upon those lotus feet, the Lord walks about the forest while herding the cows with his companions, and those feet are smeared with the kumkum from the gopis' breasts. Siddha Vaishnaver Jeno Bhishama Vyavahar Kohilaya Iha Bhuji Bare Shaktikar. I have thus explained the extraordinary characteristics of a perfect Vaishnava. Yet who can understand this? So the whole point of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur explaining this main point is that the Vaishnavas, they're the Siddha Vaishnavir Vyavahar. It says Visham Vyavahar. That's interesting. Visham usually means like dreadful. Let's see the other meanings in the dictionary of Visham. Visham. Oops. Visham. Visham means severe, deadly, unbearable, queer, extraordinary, unequal, ill-matched, odd, irregular, oblique, contrast. I think here it's meaning more like irregular, kind of like the very interest, like, huh, surprising. Yeah, so Siddha Vaishnaver Jeno Visham Vyavahar Kohilaya Iha Bujibari Shaktikar. So I've thus explained extraordinary, but like the very, yeah. Yeah. The extraordinary characteristics of a perfect Vaishnava are, yeah, who can understand this? Yeah, we should be very careful before we judge any pure Vaishnava. Could you imagine if you saw somebody like one of our acharyas going to Thakurji on the altar and like kicking Thakurji? What would we think? But that's Bhṛgu did it directly to Lord Viṣṇu, and he's glorified for this. And so we have to be very careful before we judge pure devotees. Parakite karma ki na chilo kichu ar tar lagi korilen charana prahar. Was there no other way for Bhṛgu to test the Lord than by kicking him with his feet? Yeah, couldn't he have done something else to test the Lord? Why did he have to go to Viṣṇu and kick him in the chest with his feet? Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata deva jar anugrahe ki sahase charan dilen she hridaye. It was by the mercy of the Supreme Creator that Bhṛgu had the audacity to kick the Lord in his chest. Abodhya agamya adhikarir vyavahar iha boy siddhanta na dekhi kichu ar. The behavior of an exalted personality is incomprehensible and unfathomable. I do not see any conclusion other than this. Right? So we have to be so careful if we're gonna start placing judgments on Mahabhagavats. I mean, no, we should just not do that. And this is showing. Mule Krishna praveshiya Bhṛgur dehete koraila bhaktir mahima prakashite. Lord Kṛṣṇa entered the body of Bhṛgu Muni and caused this incident to take place to broadcast the glories of devotional service. Bhaktir mahima prakashite. Gaudiya Bhashya. The Lord entered Bhṛgu's body and induced him to act in that way to manifest the glories of devotional service. Bhṛgu would have not dared to act in that way if he was conscious of proper etiquette. The Lord enacted such pastimes to broadcast the glories of his devotees. Okay, so this is, yeah. Jnana purva Bhṛgur e karma kabhu noy, Kṛṣṇa barayena adhikari bhakta jay. Bhṛgu Muni could never perform such an act knowingly, but Kṛṣṇa wanted to increase the glories of his pure devotee. Virinchi Shankar baraite Kṛṣṇa jay, Bhṛgure hoila krudha dekhaiya bhoy. Brahma and Shankar displayed anger and threatened Bhṛgu Muni to increase the glories of Kṛṣṇa. So also, Brahma and Shankar, we shouldn't misunderstand them. They became so angry. They want to, but we should also understand that they were not actually just helplessly controlled by anger, but they wanted to increase the glories of Kṛṣṇa. So they took part in this pastime. So you shouldn't, think, lowly of Brahma or Viṣṇu for acting like that also. Bhakta Shab Jeno Gai Nitya Kṛṣṇa Jai Kṛṣṇa Barayen Bhakta Jai Atishay. As the devotees always sing the glories of Lord Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa increases the glories of his devotees. Adhikari Vaishnaver na bhuji vyavahar, je jana nindaye tar, nahi ko nistar. If one criticizes an exalted Vaishnav without understanding his behavior, one can never be delivered. And this is the main point, like throughout every chapter or every other chapter of Chaitanya Bhagavata. It's everywhere. The main point that Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is just pounding in us over and over and over again is we have to be so careful about our like how we deal with Vaishnavas and not misunderstanding them, not criticizing them. Especially this point, I think it was like there's the same verse like 4 or 5 times where he said, if two pure devotees, two Mahabhagavats are fighting with each other, if we take the side of one of one of them, if we take sides when they're arguing, then we'll be completely destroyed. And he brought up that point over and over and over again. So yeah, this is, I think out of all of our readings, like we're at the very end of Chaitanya Bhagavat reading, and this is what I've seen by far the most this point. Gaudiya Bhashya. In the Bhagavad Gita at 9:30, it is stated, Api chetsu duracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadur eva samantavya samyak vyavasito hisa. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. We had a whole Ishtagoshti on this verse recently. If anybody wants to see that, can go look at the Rays of the Harmonist Ishtagoshti group. That was amazing, that one. Anyways, in the Upadeshamrita 6, it is stated, Drishtai Swabhava Janatar Vapushashcha Doshar Na Prakritatvamiha Bhakta Janasya Pashyet Gangam Basamna Kalu Buddha Phena Pankar Brahmadravatvam Apagachati Niradharmai. Being situated in his original Krishna conscious position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee's having a body born in a low-class family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or a diseased or infirm body. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions even the nature. They might seem to get really angry. Swabhav or vapur dosh. And actually it says it right here. Drishta swabhav janatar vapushashta doshar. So if you see a seeming fault in their swabhav, in their nature, or in their vapu, or in their body. But no, do not see that as being material. Okay. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee. But despite such seeming defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted. It is exactly like the waters of the Ganga, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganga waters do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganga without considering the condition of the water. Adham janerje acharjeno dharma adhikari Vaishnaveo kore she karmam. Sometimes an exalted Vaishnava exhibits the same behavior and characteristics as a materialistic person. Gaudiya Bhashya. Foolish, unqualified people go to hell because of considering Vaishnavas and non-Vaishnavas on an equal level. They find the sinful behavior of non-devotees in Vaishnavas, but actually, the Vaishnavas are never sinful. At present, in Koladweep, many people are unable to understand the extraordinary characteristics of Sri Vaiṣṇavas Babaji. Yes, Vaiṣṇavas Babaji Maharaj is very difficult to understand. We had a whole discussion about him also one day. His behavior was very, very difficult to understand. Krishna kripaye she iha jani bare pare eshab sankate keho more keho tare. The conclusion is that only by the mercy of Krishna can one understand a great Vaishnav. Otherwise, in such intricate situations, one may be either liberated or destroyed. That is an interesting point. Esab sankate keho mare keho tare. When you're in the association of a Vaishnava, you're either going to be liberated or you're going to be destroyed. You're going to shoot up, you're going to shoot up or you're going to shoot down. If you so it's the greatest opportunity, but it's also could be the greatest downfall if we are not careful. We have to understand that it's only by Krishna Kripai, only by the mercy of Krishna, can we understand the Vaishnava. We have to really understand this point. We can never understand the Vaishnava on our own. We see everything through our own filter. Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada says, through our spectacles, we see everything. Our what did he say? Our colored spectacles. Gaudiya Bhashya. One who is not favored by the Supreme Lord may bring about his own ruination by seeing superficially the characteristics of devotees, whereas another person may remain aloof from offense by not committing offenses. In the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 9.468, it is stated, Sadhavo hridayam mahyam, sadhunam hridayam taham, madanyate najanati, naham tebhyo managapi. This is in the pastime with Durvasa, right? Durvasa was being chased by the Sudarshan Chakra because he offended Ambarish Maharaj. And then Vishnu said, the pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I am always in the core I'm always in the heart of the pure devotee. My devotees do not know anything but me, and I do not know anyone else but them. Shave ite dekhi ek mahapratikar, sabare koribo stuti binay vyavahar. But I have found a wonderful solution to this problem. This problem of being destroyed by misunderstanding the Vaishnava. What's the solution? One should always glorify and behave humbly with all, because we can't recognize who a Vaishnava is only by Krishna's mercy, but like only when you're at the stage of Madhyam. And that stage is very high, actually. It's not such a small thing to reach the stage of Madhyam Adhikar. So when we haven't, so the solution, if we aren't at that stage and able to recognize Vaishnavas by Krishna's mercy, so the solution is savare koribo stuti binay vyavahar. We should always glorify and behave humbly with everyone. Never commit offense to anybody. Gaudiya Bhashya. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas 1032, it is stated, Vishnu bhaktam atayatam yo drishtva samukha priya panamadi karotyeva vasudeva yatha tatha sa vai bhakta iti gyeya sa punati jagatrayam. 1 second. Okay. Rukshakshara gira shrinvan tatha bhagavaterita pranama purvakam kshantva yo vaded Vaishnavo hisa. One who greets a devotee of Vishnu and joyfully offers him obeisances, just as he offers obeisances to Vasudeva, is considered a devotee of the Supreme Lord and is able to purify the 3 worlds. If a person who, even after hearing harsh words from a devotee, remains tolerant, offers the devotee obeisances, and converses with the devotee, then there is no doubt that person is a Vaishnava. It's easy to think you're a Vaishnava, if you're just, everything's comfortable and you're not, but the real test is if a devotee is very heavy with you and chastises you and, rebukes you and all that, and then if you're able to still remain tolerant and offer obeisances and not hide from the devotee, come converse with the devotee, then okay, you've made some advancement. You're now a Vaishnava. At least made it up to the stage of Madhyam, if you can tolerate all that and truly be humble, not just like for show. Agya hoy loy bek Krishner sharan savadhane shuni bek mahanta vachan. Thinking oneself a fool, one should surrender to Krishna and carefully listen to the words of advanced devotees. This is so important. should always consider oneself a fool and carefully listen to the words of advanced devotees while surrendering to Krishna. Tabe Krishna tare den heno divyamati sarvatra nistar pai nate koye koti. If we can do this, we can think ourselves to be a fool before the Vaishnav and carefully listen to their words, savadhane, listen to their words carefully while surrendering to Krishna. Then Lord Kṛṣṇa will impart one with transcendental intelligence, by which one is completely delivered without hindrance. Gaudiya Bhāṣya. Those who do not carefully study Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and who cannot understand the extraordinary characteristics of devotees attain inauspiciousness. But the Supreme Lord imparts transcendental intelligence to actual devotees so that they do not meet with any inauspiciousness. Even though they are faced with dangerous situations, they do not meet with any inauspiciousness. About 60 years ago, Lord Kṛṣṇa displayed one similar merciful pastime by testing Sri Swarup Das Babaji Mahashai. I wonder what happened to Swarup Das Babaji Mahashai. I wonder if anybody now knows that that's probably just lost forever. Anyhow. Okay. Bhakti kori jai shune Chaitanya avatar, she shab jano she shab jan sukhe paibe nistar. Whoever listens to the activities of Lord Chaitanya with devotion will easily be freed from material bondage. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chanda Jan Vrindavana Dasa Tachu Padajuge Gan. Accepting Śrī Caitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends the English translation of the Gaudiya Bhāṣya of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, Antya-khaṇḍa, Chapter 9, entitled The Glories of Advaita. Well, I didn't even notice that there's a lot of comments in the chat here. Sorry, let me just check out the, sorry guys, I wasn't even noticing that there's comments. So Ananta Om says, I thought earlier that Bhṛgu was a Smarta Brahman and not a pure devotee. It was so counterintuitive. I beg for forgiveness for blasting, as I judged you and didn't know you're such a glorious devotee. Oh, he's praying to Bhṛgu Rishi. Jai Ho. That's a very wonderful attitude. We should all try to develop this kind of attitude. Haribo, Shubhananda says, this reminds me of a story of 6 children of Devaki and its explanation. Yes, from Adi-khaṇḍa, this point comes many times. Yes. Oh, the verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas, Ananta Om wants me to share that. Okay, 1 second, let me just find it. Hari Bhakti Vilas, oops. Hari Bhakti Vilas. Okay, and we'll end now. This verse? No. There's a bunch of verses from Hari Bhakti Vilas. Let's see. This one, right? One who greets a devotee of Viṣṇu. I don't know. I'm just going to share this with you, the file with you, Ananta Omji, and then you can find the verse yourself. Yeah. Are you connected to me on WhatsApp? If so, send me a message and then I'll send you this chapter. All right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauracandra Giridhari Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai, Nitya Lila Prabhupada Vishnupad Ashtara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shila Gurudev ki jai, Nitya Lila Prabhupada Vishnupad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Nitya Lila Prabhupada Vishnupad Shila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitya Lila Prabhupada Vishnupad Shila Bhakti Vigyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Nitya-lila Pravishta Vishnupada Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nitya-lila Pravishta Bhagavat Srila Gauracandra Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitya-lila Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitya-lila Pravishta Vaiṣṇavas Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Śrī Rupa Anuga Guru Varga ki jai. Śrī Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Śrī Jiva Gopala Bhattadasa Gunath. Shara Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Śrī Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Śrī Kaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Śrī Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Śrī Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Śrī Radha Kund Shama Kund ki jai. Śrī Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Śrī Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Śrī Bhakti Devi ki jai. Śrī Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Śrī Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Jai Shri Bhṛgu Muni ki jai. Jai Shri Advaita Acharya ki jai. Srivas Pandit ki jai. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai. All the associates of Mahaprabhu ki jai. All Vaishnavas ki jai. The glorious, incomprehensible Vaishnavas ki jai. Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai. Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha. Vancha Kalpataru Bhyashta Kripa Sindhu Bhyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, everybody. I just got an email like right this minute from the famous, the one and only Sri Achyutananda Prabhu, who's I think everybody knows Achyutananda Prabhu. He was one of the first disciples of Srila Prabhupada. He came to India and stayed. He was the one who introduced most of the devotees in ISKCON to all the traditional melodies. So many traditional melodies and songs. Srila Prabhupada had him do this, learn in the different mutts, all the different melodies. He has so many glories, Achyutananda Prabhu. So he just emailed me and said that he would be happy to glorify Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj, who on his disappearance day on for those of you in America, it will be we're going to have our program here on May 1st, and here in India it will be May 2nd. He's going to come and tell us memories of probably very old memories, probably from that time, the late 60s. Of his experience with Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj and also Srila Bhakti Dayit Madhav Goswami Maharaj. So I'm really excited for that. We're going to hear lots of new, very interesting things that we wouldn't be able to hear from anybody else except from him. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Yeah, thank you so much for joining this reading. Dandavat pranams. Let me see who's here. Dandavat pranams, Sarveshwari Mataji, Nari Hari Prabhu, and Bhavatarani Mataji. Manjari Didi, Shubhananda Prabhu, Gopala Ghanasham Prabhu, and Ananta Om Prabhu. Dandavat pranams. Ananta Om, no, Achyutananda Prabhu is a disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Yes. But very early disciple. And then, yeah, very amazing person though. He wrote a book called Blazing Sadhus. I haven't read the book myself. I've just heard different stories from it, but I really want to read it. Blazing Sadhus. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining. And Haribol Vidyalala Didi and whoever else is watching there on YouTube. Dandavat pranams. Thank you so much for joining. And tomorrow is Sunday. So every Sunday we have our Dainik Nadia Prakash readings. That was the daily magazine of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And Srivas is translating every single issue. So we're going through every issue one by one. And so tomorrow Srivas will join us and he will take us through these articles that probably no one has seen since that time when they were published, the daily magazine. So those readings are very exciting always. And so I hope you can all join for that. And then the day after tomorrow, we will be having our Rays of the Harmonist Ishta Goshti group. And we're going to be reading an article by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So I hope you can join that also, and for the discussion that we'll have. And then the day after that, so in 3 days from now, we will begin the very last chapter of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. Yeah. All right. Haribo. Dandavat pranams. See you all tomorrow. Haribo. Yes, Sarveshwari Mataji.
For tomorrow, the link is Zoom. Will be in Zoom.
It will be in the same link. Yeah. Everything we do at this time is always on this link, no matter what the program is.
But the Bhaktivinoda Thakur will be in WhatsApp. The songs?
Oh, the songs? No, actually that WhatsApp group, because we're finishing Chaitanya Bhagavat, and so very soon, and so then I'm going to change the name of that group to Bhakti Vinod Giti Dhara, and then that will become the Bhakti Vinod song group. the group will change.
Zoom will be in Zoom.
Yes, it'll be Zoom, just like these programs. Yeah.
Like this one. Yeah. Thank you.
Haribo. Dandavat pranams. See you all tomorrow. Oh, and one thing, I think, did I mention this yesterday? I plan on the days leading up to our Bhaktivinoda Thakur program, I want to learn all the definition verses written by Srila Bhakti-Vinod Thakur Goswami Maharaj on all the limbs of Sharanagati, so that we become, before we even start approaching these songs of Srila Bhakti-Vinod Thakur, we know very clearly the precise definition, and then we can look out for that definition in the songs. I think it would really help with our going through these songs. So yeah, I'm going to do that every day. I'm going to try to do a practice session of trying to understand all the words of the Sanskrit verse and repeat it a bunch of times and try to memorize it. I mean, I'm doing it because I want to memorize it. And if anybody wants to memorize them with me, then you're totally free to join. All right, Haribo. I'll start that on Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj's disappearance day, the memorization thing, because on that day, it will be 6 days until the program. All right, Haribo.